Welcome to Little Literati. I'm Jess, and this is my December wrap-up video. So I know, I mentioned in my last video that we are already into January. It's the 2nd as I do this video, and so I was really behind on my videos, and so I only just barely got around to doing November. So this is December, but like I explained, if you didn't see that video, at the beginning of December, I had an unexpected death in my family, and I lost my grandfather, who I was really close with. So we had to travel for his funeral, and then we got back just in time pretty much for Christmas festivity activities to commence, and we had to get prepared for all of that, and I had some projects that I needed to finish up before Christmas came for my kids. So I haven't had a ton of time that I can work on videos or even reading, really. So I did manage to read 6 books this month. My husband and I listened in the car on our trip. We listened to the second book in the Mistborn series, like we listened to the first one in September. We listened to The Well of Ascension, which is the second book, and these were a reread for me. I had read them, I want to say 5 years ago, but it was fun listening to them again with him. And so he was really, and then we got home and he's like, okay, well, I know that you have to work on stuff, but can we finish up the book? We've only got like 5 hours left. And so we spent several evenings listening to The Well of Ascension, even while we were home. We did finish it up, and he really enjoyed it. He was definitely surprised by the ending. I don't want to say anything really too much about this book because it's the second in a series, and so it's bookended on either end by other books. So I don't want to say anything to spoil anything. But he definitely was surprised, and even I was a little bit surprised because I had forgotten all of the fine details leading up to the main basic events. So The Well Ascension was very fun, and we're looking forward to sometime starting up The Hero of Ages, which is book 3, so that we can listen to those and find out how everything ends. I also reread books 2 and 3 in the Bulgarian Queen of Sorcery and Magician's Gambit. I got home from our trip, and my friend that I have kind of an informal book club with texted me and said, okay, so I have actually finished all the way through book 3. We need to get together before I forget. And we still haven't gotten together. But I was like, oh crap, I need to hurry. And so for 2 evenings, I hurried and plowed through these, and they were just as much fun as I remembered. I I do love the Bulgarian. If you have any questions about the books or the series, you can watch my David Eddings video, or you can also leave comments down below on this video. But I love it so much. And so she actually just texted me and said, sorry, we haven't gotten together. I kind of got crazy, but I'm on book 5, so I guess I need to start reading books 4 and 5 again so I can catch up, and we can talk about it. Talk about the whole series all in one go. But anyway, these are books 2 and 3, and they're amazing. I love them. This is Lies Jane Austen Told Me, which is one of the newest of the proper romance line. And it took me some time to want to pick this up because the premise sounded really fun, but they changed the size of their books midway through a series last year, and I was not happy about the change. And I still haven't picked up that book, by the way, that I ordered and that arrived, and it's a different size from all the other books I own. I still haven't picked it up because it makes me sick to think about it, to even look at it, so I can't touch it. But I finally decided that I was going to ignore things that were bothering me, and I was going to read this and check out the library, and as long as it's the library's, it's fine for me to read it. It's crazy, I know, but it's not mine. It doesn't have to go on my shelf. It doesn't have to live next to the other books that are a different size. So it's okay for me to read it because it's not my copy. I don't know. But here it goes. So this is a modern book. It's a contemporary. And Emma Pierce it's kind of similar to Austen Land, which I talked about in my last video, except that it doesn't have anything to do with going back and pretending to live in that other time. But she loves Jane Austen, and she's also becoming disenchanted with Jane Austen and feeling that she was lied to, hence the title. She is dumped by her boyfriend, and she works with a consultant at her company who happens to be the brother of her ex-boyfriend. And so it kind of reminds me of, if you ever saw the Pemberley Digital web series, they did the Lizzie Bennet Diaries. They also did one that was called Sanderson. And it reminds me of Sanderson plus Austenland plus While You Were Sleeping. If you've seen that movie with Sandra Bullock. Kind of a mix of those. And so she is trying to reconcile her growing feelings for the brother while trying to overcome her old feelings for the first brother who broke her heart, and trying to reconcile all of that with what she has grown up believing about Jane Austen and about heroines and about heroes and what kind of love she really, really wants. So anyway, it was really a fun read. I don't know if I will buy it because of my aforementioned craziness. We'll see. But it was fun to at least read once, and we'll see if I can summon up the guts, maybe, to overcome my demons and buy a copy for myself. But it really was fun to read at least once. So, well, as Jane Austen told me, I did read 2 other books that I don't have copies of because my library does not have copies of them, and I listened to them on Audible. So the first one was called Magic Bitter, Magic Sweet by Charlie N. Holmberg. She wrote the Paper Magician series, which I still haven't read, although I bought it. I still haven't read it. I was excited for that one because it mentions Mare, the character, who it sounded like was going to be a behind-the-scenes baker and cook for fairy tales. So it's kind of, I thought it was going to be kind of a fairy tale retelling. So it mentioned on the description that she makes a gingerbread house. She makes a living gingerbread man or boy. She makes a potion that shrinks people and a cake that makes them grow. And I thought, oh, how fun! A behind-the-scenes fairy tale retelling, similar to Ash and Bramble, what it did with shoemakers and dressmakers, but about bakers and this one character who makes all these things, and she's going to interact with the characters from these fairy tales and these other stories. And it was going to be a really fun romp through the classics and through fairy tales. And it wasn't. And I did not love that book. Again, those things are mentioned, but we don't ever really see the characters involved at all. And the character is kind of unlikable because she spends the entire book complaining about her lot in life. And I mean, she is kidnapped, but it's like, I'm tired of hearing you whine about it. Like, do something to fix your situation, or like just suck it up and live with it. I mean, you can either fix your situation or you can accept it. And I don't know, it wasn't very fun. It wasn't lighthearted. It wasn't enjoyable. I'm hoping that her Paper Magician series is more fun and more my cup of tea, because this one just really, really wasn't. The other book I read that I don't have a copy of, I'll try to leave links in the description box below, was Artful by Peter David. And that one is not a retelling and not exactly a mashup, but it tells the story of the Artful Dodger. It's kind of a sequel to Oliver Twist because it happens after the events of that book. But we focus on the Artful Dodger with vampires, which was kind of a fun take. And there were definitely parts of the narrative that were quirky and snarky, and I laughed several times while listening to it. So it was really fun. There was lots of action, lots of drama, horror parts, and it was kind of fun. So I will eventually have a copy of that. I just don't have it yet because I haven't had a chance to order it yet. I barely finished it a few days ago. But I was listening to that while finishing up some of my decorations and work. So, speaking of decorations and work, this is the project I've been working on for a little while now for my kids, and I decided I really wanted to do a push and finish it for Christmas. So, I painted and decorated these boxes, which are shaped like books, and inside are peg people for the corresponding books. So we've got Dracula, Dr. Van Helsing, Jonathan Harker, We have Lucy, Mina, and Vampire Lucy. So I did that for at least 6 books. I'm actually partway through Wuthering Heights that I didn't give a chance to give to the kids. But I was painting people for them up till the wire. Like Christmas Eve I was finishing stuff up. But I did Dracula for them. I did Macbeth, which is my favorite Shakespeare play. And I know it's super, super gory and bloody, especially for children. But it's my favorite, and it's my family history, so I had to do it because it's fun, and how else are my kids going to learn? So I've got Macbeth and Banquo the Ghost, and I have the 3 witches and their cauldron of doom. I've got also King Duncan and Lady Macbeth with her bloody hands in a nightgown. So they're not maybe the most beautiful peg people ever, but they have been a lot of work. I've actually been working on these for 2 years and finally decided, no, they're getting too old for this. I need to actually finish these up. I've got Pride and Prejudice. Currently with just the 2 couples, the 2 main couples, I've got Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy and Jane and Mr. Bingley. I'm planning on doing Lydia and Wickham and Mr. Collins and Mrs. Bennet, because I think she'll be a blast to paint. She's kind of crazy. I did Little Women with all 4 sisters, Amy, Meg, Beth, and Jo, plus Marmee and Laurie, growing up, of course. The last 2 that I've done are the Phantom of the Opera. We've got the Daroga. He was actually, I was working on Christmas Eve evening. This is Raoul. Christine. I had to redo her, so I was also doing her Christmas Eve because I'd originally done her with brown hair, like the musical, and then I realized that she was Swedish and was probably blonde with blue-eyed. And the Phantom. And the last one that I finished with the kids was Jane Eyre. And so we've only got 4 characters so far. I'm also planning on doing a couple more. But there's Mr. Rochester and Jane. And Evie was really excited. She's like, look, Mommy, there's a bun in the back of her hair. I'm like, I know, I'm the one who painted it. We've got Crazy Lady Bertha and Blanche Ingram with her kind of snarky. And the back of this is, I've got a synopsis of the story that I Mod Podged onto this so that they kind of know who the characters are and what they're supposed to be doing. I haven't done that for any of the others yet. I'm still working on it. But I decided I needed to get them to them before they were too old for this. So they have been really, really enjoying those. And so what happened was I saw something like that on Etsy. I saw little peg people that were named and painted after classic characters. And then I found the boxes at Hobby Lobby. And I thought, well, hey, I can actually stuff the peg people into the corresponding box. And they could be little storage boxes plus books, which is kind of fun. And then at Michael's, I found this castle. So this is actually really what I spent the most of my time in December working on, was painting this and doing the insides and everything. So we've got a red room for Jane Eyre and a purple room for King Duncan, and it was a lot of work. Oh my gosh, it took hours and hours. I was down in my basement working for 2 weeks on this alone. Pretty much the children were forbidden from going downstairs. Got a little drawbridge that opens and closes. And then I was just watching TV down there in the background while I was painting. So this took, like I said, 2 weeks, but it's done. And the kids have been loving it. And so that is my excuse for not getting videos done and not getting books read, because I was painting and working on Christmas for my kids. So I'm sorry again about the wait on these. Thank you so much for your patience. And if you have any questions, or if you have any suggestions for things to read, or tell me what you read. Tell me if you got any fun books for Christmas. I was actually counting up after Christmas and tallying all of the books that we received from various, from Santa and from Daddy and from Mommy, and what all did we give to each other? And our family collectively, altogether, received 94 books for Christmas, which was awesome. And then actually, funnily enough, I received the fewest number of books. I only got 7 books this year for Christmas. But it was a really, really wonderful year. And we had a really great time. And it was just a really great year. And it was great to finally be done with some of this. And I told the kids, I'm not painting any more people until January. So I was giving myself a little bit of a break before I start working on some of the other people and finishing up my project. But they really, really loved their Christmas. They loved all the books they got, and we'll have to do a video revolving around that. But thank you so much for staying with me and for your patience. And hopefully we'll see you in the next video.